Hey guys, Gabe Eltaeb here, Big Man Comics Live. How are you doing? It's a great Tuesday, March 4th, guys. It flies by, and I'll be working on the Unstoppable Tyruses, a double page spread, pages 54 and 55, I believe. I'll be working a little bit on that today. I'm taking a lot of the day off. When you work for yourself, you can afford to do that occasionally, but we're doing good. We're doing great on this book. I'm having a great time. And I keep telling you guys the same things over and over. Empyrean is coming, and Tyrus, they're coming. They are coming, and I want to deliver that for you guys for sure. And just have a great time working on that. But welcome in. Hit the like, hit the share. I think I'm going to set up a different camera angle. I have another camera on a drawing desk, a regular drawing, like pen, ink, pencil over there. I think I'm going to swing the arm around and point it sideways, so you get more like a view like this. So at least you see my face, because I know that like looking at the top of my hat while I draw, it's not the greatest thing. Well, maybe this is a little bit better. Yeah, turn the hat around at least. Because when someone's talking, you kind of want to see their face a little bit. Antonia 707 is here. But yeah, guys, we are working on a double page spread. This is a insane fight scene in the book. It's a lot of fun. We want to have a lot of action, a lot of adventure. I want to give you guys all that crap they took away from you. I don't know. The woke people are confounding, man. They do just destroy things for the sake of destroying them, which is insane, because you would think, well, didn't they like it too? And but their virtue signaling and their ego is more important to them. So but yeah, I got some big things cooking that I can't announce just yet, but we've got some really exciting stuff. But again, as always, one of the things I said last week, and I want to make it a core part of what I do with Big Man Comics, is to know more about you guys. You are the partners in crime for me here. You are the reason I get to do this, because financially, when you crowdfund and back books, that gives me the capital to do what I need to do here. And I appreciate that. And I want to make sure you guys feel the appreciation, you feel the love. So I want this to be more and more about you guys all the time. I want to hear from you. I want to know what you think. I want to know why you love comics, why you love action and adventure. What does this stuff mean to you? Because I know what it means to me. But if I'm over here working on it in my studio, and I never ask, I never ask you guys what you think, and just never kind of do anything. Never look for that customer feedback, I guess. I think I'm selling you and myself short. I think I should look for to interact with you guys more about what is it? Why are we doing this? Why any of this? So I definitely want to know more, and I welcome it. I want to hear. There's no wrong answers. There's no wrong opinions. It's your opinion. So how could it be wrong? But I'm very happy. I'm very hopeful. I'm very satisfied. A big thing for me, we'll get real personal here, and you guys can be personal, as personal as you want, is dealing with being a man in this modern world. And what you do realize, my grandpa used to have this saying, and it made me laugh. He said it, the first time I heard him say it was in high school. And my grandpa, he's from the World War II generation, born in 1918, right? So he'd be 107 now, my grandfather, rest in peace. Best guy I ever knew. And he did pretty well in the 60s and 70s, making money, owning a Mexican restaurant and a tortilla shop. Didn't do as well in the 80s, retired from it in the 90s. So he ran it for like 40-something years. I don't know, post-World War II to the early mid-90s. But they'd come to California where I lived and my aunt lived. So my aunt and my cousins, and then my mom, brother, and me, we all lived out here in California. And they would come from Colorado to visit. And inevitably, Grandpa would pay for everything. He's paying for dinners, paying for this, paying for that. And I kind of asked about it one day, like, why don't your kids pay? Like, why doesn't my mom and aunt and all them ever offering? You're always paying. The meal is over. There's 20 of us are out to dinner or whatever. And you pull out the checkbook. And he told me, too bad, so sad, you're dad. He was a real jokester, my grandpa. And he said, just that's how it was. That's kind of how that was. And as a man, it's hard to deal with that. And he did it with a smile on his face. He did it with a smile on his face. So you try not to be resentful. But I think as a man, it's like, I'm willing to give you my life. You say this to your wife, children, your society, all of it, right? I'm willing to give you my life. That's fine. What I'm not willing to do is give you my life and then just be disrespected completely. Like, you can get the fuck out of here with that. As the kiddos say, you can miss me with that bullshit. That's not happening. And, you see that's what's happening with Europe and Zelensky and Trump and all. It's funny that would also be a parallel to what's going on here. of America's going to foot the bill for everything with this USA and all that crap. And then they're going to mock us and call us ignorant, stupid, ugly Americans, blah, blah, blah. Big fat cowboys with their stupid giant vehicles and blah, blah. Like going to sit there and take from us and then think they're going to mock us and disrespect us. Like hand over the money, fucker, is how all those Europeans and Zelensky are to me and you. Because most of you watching this are Americans. Real quick, Antonio707 says, first comic book was Donald Duck in 92 and 93. Second was Isom 1. Well, hopefully your third will be over at bigmancomics.com right now and be Dean Cain, All-American Lawman, Volume 1. Dangerous Freedom is the name of that, and you'll love it. If you love Indiana Jones from the 80s, not the woke garbage they make now, you'll love what I did there. It's fantastic. Beautifully illustrated by Akeon, colored by me, co-created by Superman himself, Dean Cain. Run over there and get it right now. We just have a few copies left of the first printing. You'll be thrilled. It'll be the best indie comic you've ever read. It'll be the best comic book you've ever read. If you'll love it. What I put into that, what my partners put into that, creating that, it's absolutely outrageously good. You may not know a lot about me, but I worked in the mainstream of comics for Marvel and DC for many a year, mostly DC, a little bit of Marvel. There's a funny thing about that, where if you work for one, sometimes they don't want to hire you at the other one. It's a bizarre rivalry thing. Some guys jump back and forth between both. But for whatever reason, I did just a microscopic amount of work for Marvel, mostly worked for DC. But in my time in comics, 3 books I worked on: Batman Brave and the Bold, 2011. La Burkina was a charity book put together by some guy to raise money for a Puerto Rican natural disaster. I don't remember if it was flooding or a hurricane or what it was. This is like over 10 years ago. And the 2017 Detective Comics Annual were all Eisner nominated, and 2 of those, La Burkina and the Batman book, won. So I am part of the creative teams that have won 2 Eisners. If you don't know, the Eisner is the highest award you can win in comics. It is the equivalent of the Oscar in comic books. So I am very good at what I do. And you'll see that when you go check out Dean Cain, when you eventually get a hold of the Tyrus book. This Tyrus book is great fun. Tyrus, the Fox News superstar, he was a wrestling star, right? And he loves comics. He's loved comics since he was a little boy. His handle on Twitter is Planet Tyrus, right? And that is named after the Greg Pak written, I believe it was Greg Pak, super smash hit from Marvel Comics from about over a decade ago called Planet Hulk. So he's Planet Tyrus because he was a huge fan of Hulk. So we created this concept of this huge blue instead of green behemoth, and there's mutants, there's ancient legends, and just there's ancient lore that goes back thousands of years in human history, and there's not magic, but Atlantean hyper technology and all this stuff. You'll absolutely love this. This is it's a great book. It's a lot of fun, and we're having a blast making it. This is page 54, 55. It's 125 pages. I've increased it by 5 pages. It was always advertised as 120, but I realized I wanted to add more to this one scene. It was just, I kept thinking about it for a few weeks, and or months even. I was like, I gotta add more. And then I realized, this scene, it needs more punch. So Antonio, I'll get Dean Cain, All-American Lawman, and the rest when I can. Oh, dude, I appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. To be a little boy and be drawing back in the mid-'80s, and now people go onto my website and buy my drawings and buy my stories, couldn't be more blessed. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. And I can't do this without you, like quite literally. And that's a great thing I learned from my grandfather and my dad. Being entrepreneurs. My grandfather and his wife, my grandmother, Minnie, that was her name. It was Juanita, but she went by Minnie. And they had La Famosa. It was a Mexican restaurant and a tortilla factory. And they did it, man. They came from the Great Depression. They came from extreme poverty. The Great Depression. My grandfather dropped out of school in the 3rd grade to help start working, to help have money for his family. His mother died when he was very young. So he had that single father, and then he had a stepmother eventually. And the stepmother was like out of a Disney cartoon. She hated my grandfather and favored her biological children she had with my great-grandfather, Eduardo. And I remember he told me a story of her trying to kill him, basically, like screaming at him, and threw a cast iron skillet at his head, and he barely got out of the way. And she was terrible to him, his stepmother, like the evil stepmother. How weird. I never... I mean, this is like basic. But how could anyone hate children? Like, are you kidding me? Whether they're your children or not, like, you can't be bad to kids. What the fuck is wrong with you? It's probably the most vile thing in the world. It's probably the most vile thing. I can't think of anything worse than being bad to children. I really can't. I can't think of a worse thing, because you can do horrible things to adults, of course, and you shouldn't. But to the weakest among us, to the least among us, can't think of anything worse. And maybe that's why all those globalists and Democrats are into that stuff, allegedly, because they are the worst people on earth. But yeah, he was such a good man. My grandfather, a great example. But as a man, it's really hard to deal with those feelings of, I'm working hard for these people, I'm bleeding, hurting my own body, my own mind, my own spirit, foregoing so many things that I want. All these desires, dreams, things that you wanted, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to put that aside forever for my wife, for my kids. And the hard part is when you don't feel appreciated sometimes. And that may sound wishy-washy or whatever, but go ahead and live it and tell me how it feels. You know what I mean? Go ahead and live that. And again, it's a parallel to Trump and Zelensky, right? And the way the Euros, the globalists treat us Americans like we're their tax cattle. Like, hurry up, fucker. Like, that whole saying of beggars can't be choosers. That's how they act with us. Like, we're just here to work really hard and pay taxes and send our boys and occasionally women over there to just die in their conflicts repeatedly. What the fuck for? Especially if you're going to mock us and say, oh, ugly, fat, stupid Americans. By the way, we're the most important and consequential country to ever exist. And everyone thinks and talks and fixates on us for a reason. You all use our technology, watch our movies and TV, and listen to our music. We set all the trends. We make all the innovations. If it's amazing, it comes from America. And that's just how it's been for well over a century, So I don't want to hear smart mouth shit from these people around the globe trying to shit talk America while you use our internet, our medical advances, our everything, and then rely on the blood of our soldiers to go die in your stupid countries over your dumbass shit you guys can't figure out yourself. It's infuriating, and it just reminds me again of that thing my grandpa told me, where you're the dad, you're the patriarch, and like everyone just wants to mock you. Like, oh yeah, you can pay for everything, you can do everything, you can be the one that gives up your what you really wanted in your dreams and this and that. You can be everything for us, but don't you dare ask for anything. Don't you dare ask for just a fucking thank you, right? Don't you dare ask for respect for what you did for us. You're just a chump. You're just a fucking ATM. You're just here to give and then die. And if you do that to people long enough, like you do it on the micro level, you do it to men long enough, well, they'll quit on you. And if you do it to America long enough, we'll quit on you. We'll just say, okay, Europe, you fucking filthy cigarette smoking Euro trash, solve your own problems. Solve them yourself. Go send your soldiers, go spend your money. Let's see what your militaries can do with Russia. Let's see. Let's see you defend yourselves and keep shit talking us. Because you know what would happen if they had to face Putin alone. That whole continent would be speaking Russian. The men over there that allow all that evil to happen to their countries, and they don't stand up or have a spine. You expect me to believe they'll do jack shit to fight and defend anything? Yeah, please look at what they're doing now. They're doing fuck all now. So I'm a little fired up today. I'm just, you get tired of it. I've talked about this scene before, but it's so poignant, and it just sums up the current zeitgeist of how leftists and feminists view men, with nothing but abject disdain, right? Just hatred, like true bigotry and hatred against men, but then wanting nothing more than men to be the footstool and the supplier of everything, right? They are fine with us giving everything and dying, but they also want to disrespect us and defy us. They want to have that both ways, and it's like, that's bullshit. You can't have that both ways. If I have responsibility without authority, then I'm just a slave. Someone said that the other day to me on Twitter when I was talking about this very subject. If I'm responsible to take care of you and sacrifice and die, fine. But what's my half of it? What's my half? I do that for you because you say so. So that dehumanizes me, that I just do that for you, but you just don't do anything for me. Like, oh, you think it's transactional? Well, you think it's slavery. you know? So no, I don't think it necessarily is cold and transactional, but I'm not dumb. I'm not here to be shamed into having my sense of honor abused against me. So then I just get you. My dad has a saying about this, about being a nice guy. My dad says you do that, you're going to get used like a hand towel, and I think that's perfect. I think that's apt. Gotta watch the size of these eyes; they're slightly different sizes. But let me check the chat here. Antonio said something else. Antonio 707. I've become more and more isolationist over the last 2 decades because of the Euro Middies BS. Yeah, it never ends, and it doesn't take long. When you're young, like your high school age, you don't know. As soon as you become a man, you start living, working, paying taxes. Maybe you're raising a family. You start to see the pattern. It's not wrong to be fooled. You don't like, oh, you're a loser. You got tricked. All of us have been tricked in life. You're a loser to get tricked and just pretend you don't know. See, YouTube doesn't let us do this, but the lockdown stuff and the masks and all that, and you see a person in their car alone with a mask, that person is refusing to acknowledge what they know to be true, and that's stupid as hell to me. And it's not wrong to be fooled. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And then, as George Bush Jr. said, fool me twice, can't get fooled again, because he was an incompetent. But yeah, it's not wrong to be fooled, but it is wrong to have the pride, the problem issue with your own pride where you won't admit you got fooled. That's wrong. So just admit it. Just swallow your pride. Like, yep, they got me. They tricked me. So I had a horrible dream last night, and it woke me up. I was overseas. I don't know if I was in Mexico or Europe or somewhere, and I was in line to go into something or do something. And then cops came up to me and said that I had something illegal in my pocket that I wasn't allowed to have. And I knew I didn't. And they put some powder on my hand, I think, to check for, fingerprints, this, that, and the other. But then they took my wallet and keys and all this ostensibly to go do some official whatever. And then they said, you need to go down here and put on this blue wristband for everybody we arrest to go do this thing. And I go down there and it's kind of all haphazard and it doesn't make any sense and it's all disorganized. And after being down there for about 10 minutes, I realized that those weren't cops. They were impersonators who do this to tourists and steal everything from them. And it was super upsetting, man. Super upsetting. And then I was running, oh God, help me get my stuff back. And I was running to where I thought they might be, these guys, and this, that, and the other. And then I think the stress of the dream woke me up, but it felt truly awful, this dream. It really felt bad. But that's the great thing about waking up from a horrible dream, is waking up from it, right? And going, oh, thank God that wasn't real, because that was terrible. So, the good thing is to wake up from a horrible dream to a good life, Antonio says, F Gavin for the lockdowns was in the first 3 industries to be told non-essential. Yeah, that's a real thing, huh? To tell human beings they're non-essential. That's awesome. But you know what was essential, Antonius, is him and the other California bureaucrats going to the most prestigious, expensive restaurant in the world, the French Laundry in Napa, up there in that rich-ass county, and using your money, if you're a Californian, using your money on the Black American Express to pay thousands and thousands of dollars for dinner while your grandparents had to die alone in the hospital and you weren't allowed to go to the funeral because lockdowns. That's awesome that Gavin Newsom and them did that shit, right? The guy has the nerve to not resign, So, yeah, but he's the same guy that, didn't he allegedly fuck his campaign manager's wife or something like that? Well, it's his buddy's wife. Like, what the hell? But then also, wasn't he married at the same time? So you're cheating on your wife and you're fucking your friend's wife. Here's the thing I don't understand about cheating with your brother's wife or your best friend's wife. There are billions of women on earth. What are you doing going after your family members or your good friend's wife? I'm not saying I condone cheating with a strange woman that you don't know, but my goodness, at least that instead of your brother's wife. It's just, I mean, I don't even know. Like, how could you couldn't stay married, right? I saw this awful news story last week of a father that got, I can't even say it, that got with his son's college girlfriend. And my son, I have an adult son, and we were talking, and he's always online too, and he saw the story too, and I said, "You saw that?" And he's like, "It's the worst thing ever." And I said, "I can't even understand it." And he said to me, "It's like that wouldn't even be your dad anymore." And I agree. Like, you can't do shit like that. I understand things happen, whatever, but you've got to have something in your brain that says, "Hey, this is my son's girlfriend." That's completely insane. And that's who Gavin Newsom is. Now, it wasn't his son's girlfriend, but it was like his campaign manager's wife or something. So, I mean, that's who you're dealing with there, right? Because it'd be one thing to say, "Oh, Gavin Newsom went to a convention and got with the floozy at the bar." Like, that's trashy, but it's not his brother or friends or whatever's wife. Like, dude, what on earth are you doing? Am I wrong about that? Because that does feel way worse to me. The whole family connection stuff or good friends, that feels about as low as it goes. That feels truly terrible to me. And Tony, it's 58. Is that what they spent? 58,000 at the French Laundry. I remember seeing that the tip for the alcohol was $3,000. That's the tip. The tip, not what they spent on booze, not what they spent of my tax money. Just sent a huge check to the state of California to do business here last week. I saw it hit my account and they cashed it. So you're welcome, Gavin. You're welcome. You better cut those fucking bushes down so we don't have another fire burn everything. Use my money to cut those bushes. Use my money to put the homeless in mental institutions so they quit starting fires or attacking people on the streets. That's what my money is for, that I'm currently working on right now, that you're watching me work on. That's what it's for. My money is not for you to go fucking order appetizers at the French Laundry, you dick. Jeez. It's not what my money is for. And again, this goes right back to that unappreciative wife, that unappreciative people, that Zelensky thing where you're busting your ass, you're working, you're bleeding, all this stuff for people. And they're like, "Give me the money, fuckface." They have zero appreciation. That's our government here in California. Like, yeah, chumps, pay your taxes. Pay your taxes by, April 15th or else, ooh. And then they take your damn money and just give it all to like illegals and their free health care and free college. I'm sitting here as an American paying, I think the tuition to send my son to the university was over $30,000 a year, right? Was that a semester or a year? It was a lot, having to take student loans and stuff. And I was talking to an immigrant about it who had this rotten attitude of zero appreciation for Americans. I said, "Why should immigrants get free college and I'm sitting here paying?" We can give free college to immigrants once we give free college to every last American. Doesn't have to pay. We pay for our own first. Then we can think about graciously, maybe if we want to, helping anyone else, but we're not obligated to. And this person said to me, "Well, you can afford it." And to me, that is just such a giant fuck you. That's just, again, it's dehumanizing. It's you're this slave. Get to work, boy. That's what it is. Get to work. Make me that money. I want it. So do it. And I think they've done that long enough that regular people just had an ass full of that. They've had enough. Like, no more. No more. Figure it out yourself. And I think that the ungrateful, these globalist pieces of crap and horrible wives that are this way, the entitled nitpicking bitch wife, all this stuff, the shitty family and friends that they want to exploit your male sense of honor, where you want to do the right thing for your family and your community. And you do that long enough and the men just walk away. And they don't freak out, they don't rage out, they don't yell at everyone, they just fade away. They just fade into whatever. And it's funny, it's a thing I make fun of a lot, but it's true. They just go their own way, you know. Damn. Antonio says, "I think that's an accurate amount." The 58. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. I've been out to dinners with Warner Brother at conventions. I went out to a dinner with a bunch of DC Comics editors and a bunch of DC Comics freelance artists. And I don't drink, but most people do. And I saw a bunch of these freelance artists get drunk. And one of the wives of one of the freelance artists, not even work for DC Comics, her husband did, but she was there because they'd always let us bring our wives, like a +1. She starts ordering glass after glass of wine, and pretty soon they are bringing bottles and bottles and bottles to the table, to the point where Larry Gannum, he's the talent relations VP at Warner Brothers. We are the talent, right? The freelancers. He was the talent relations vice president. So that was the relationship the company had with us as freelancers. He called me then, like after Comic-Con, this is San Diego Comic-Con, like 10 years ago. He called me and said that his bosses just needed him to call everybody and say, hey, when we go out to dinner, you can order, like, you can get like 2 drinks. Like, you can't be ordering wine and like bottles and bottles of wine and just telling the waiter, yes, more, like clapping their hands, more. I watched it happen. My wife watched it, and we're both like, whoa. Because again, I don't drink. My wife barely drinks. My wife is one of those people that drinks like 3 times a year, like 2 drinks or 1 drink. Like, we don't do alcohol in this house, basically. I don't do it at all. And I bet my wife has 3 to 5 drinks in a calendar year. But to watch these people just load up on alcohol because it was free, because Warner Brothers was paying the bill, that was insane to watch. And it was low class as hell. It's just cringy to watch people do stuff like that. And again, that's how men have been treated by society, and that's how America's been treated by the world. You're here to foot the bill, and we're going to just take as much. And that's how Gavin Newsom and them treat the taxpayers here. Where you stay home, lockdown, but I'm off to the French Laundry. And if you don't know what the French Laundry is, it is the top restaurant in the world, basically, and it is the hardest one to get into. You want a reservation there, you're like a year out on that thing, unless you're a big wig, big celebrity, a big powerful person. I'm sure you can get in there. The bigger you are, the sooner you can get in there. But if you're a regular person, you're not getting in there for weeks or months or a year. It's one of the most prestigious restaurants in the world. And of course, that's where Gavin Newsom goes because, hey, I'm paying the bill because I'm the taxpayer. Why not go there? Because these people are paying it, just like the Warner Brothers dinner. And to top it off, they're harassing everyone about the lockdown, and you better stay home, and you better not have 3 people at your house during the lockdown. And which is completely against our rights as Americans. You're not allowed to just suspend the Constitution and our ability to be free people just because there was a disease. That's not how the laws work. So like, oh, these are the Bill of Rights, except unless there's a cold going around. It's not how that works. It wasn't my job to manage your fear and anxiety. I remember I went to the beach with my wife during the lockdowns when, and a cop drove by on a 4-wheeler. And we were sitting on the sand, as you do at the beach, talking to each other. And to his credit, he was ashamed of this, but I knew he felt like he had to say it. He came to me and my wife and said, you can't sit, you got to stand. Because that was one of the nonsense trust the science things that you couldn't sit. Remember, people would go out to eat, and if they were standing and they weren't at their table eating yet, they had to wear their mask. But once they sat down to eat, then of course the mask could come off because science. So I'm at Pacific Beach, and they're like, you can come to the beach and stand in this square footage, but you can't sit in the same square footage. Now let's just do a thought experiment here. I'm 6'4". When I sit, my head is 3 feet off the ground or whatever. Well, what about 3 foot tall children? Do they have to get on stilts to also be 6 feet tall? What about a midget? What if Zelensky went to the beach, all of his 3'2" ass? Does he have to be on stilts? We have to set up some sort of platform so his head is also 6 feet. Like, this is the kind of authoritarian bullshit. And the disappointing thing was to watch everyone go along with it. I remember going into Costco and Vons. Vons is our local grocery store in California. It's a big chain out here. Going to the local Vons or Costco with my wife, and there'd be 2 people in the store without masks on, getting dirty looks from everyone and feeling intense social pressure. And those 2 people were me and my wife. She didn't go for any of it either. And actually, at the very start of the lockdown, she was more staunchly against any of this than me. I was a little concerned as a father, like, oh, I can't let my family down. My sense of honor was there, but it was exploited against me, But I remember that going into the grocery stores, and it was hard to, like, how that social pressure is. You know what that feels like. Everyone does. But it was so disappointing to me to, there's that old saying, crisis reveals character, right? So everyone's nice when things are good, but who are you really? Who are you really? And when the shit goes down, we see who you really are. You'll see who I really am. The crisis reveals character. And that lockdown, that really showed us who a lot of your fellow people are there. They are bootlickers, and they are snitches, and they are not freedom-minded. They are very self-interested, and that's really, really sad. We got to be a high-trust society. And if people are going to be snitches and just completely self-interested, that's not a high trust society. You can't, that's not sustainable, by the way, to have a society like that where the people are against each other. That's insanity to me. So, but we came out the other side, and I think, strength is built through resistance, right? So bad things happening, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So because society made it through that, now those of us that chose to learn from it are much stronger. And we have much more resolve. And one thing I really love that's happened in the lockdowns and Biden combined is some of the worst times in recent American history. It's made those of us that were anti-woke and anti all this stuff, we are resolute now. We feel like when whoever they are, shot Trump in the ear, we have nothing to lose now. They went all the way. So we're like, you know what? Call me a racist, call me this, call me that. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to kowtow. I'm not going to bend. I'm not going to get shamed into doing some stupid shit. None of your little goofy tricks are going to work on me ever again. Because I know who you are. I know what you're up to, and you hate us. You hate us, and you want nothing but evil for us. You want to subjugate us. You want to destroy us. You want to hurt us. And we saw it. We saw that in Butler, Pennsylvania, whoever you people are. And call me racist, call me whatever. I don't give a shit, And it's nice to see so many people joining in that, So, yeah, I'm fired up today, guys. I'm fired up. I've had enough. The stuff with Zelensky is so fucking offensive. He's over there telling Trump in our Oval Office, you will feel the pain of Russia. What kind of, is that a fucking threat, motherfucker, you little midget? I'm glad Trump threw his ass out of there. And I wouldn't take his stupid apology he gave this morning. Fuck you. You're done. You had your chance. Do it yourself. No money, no security, nothing. Good luck with Putin. Good luck, bro. You want us to die for you, to send you billions of dollars when our economy is trying to recover from the mess that Biden and those idiots made? No, you're not going to talk to us that way. Have zero appreciation and nothing in it for us. Just send our boys over there to die? Fuck off forever. Figure this shit out yourself. You want to talk tough? You want to talk tough, but then we're the ones that pay for your tough talk? No way. And I really, really don't want Trump to help them. I want them cut off for good. All of them, too. Europe, too. All of them. You want to fuck with us? You want to find out who we really are? Because we've been benevolent for a long time to a lot of disrespectful assholes. And maybe it's time to remind everyone exactly who the fuck we are. I think so. I think that would be very healthy for the world. And it would be great for America. Screw these people, all of them. Our allies. Yeah, right. My ass. Let's see. Let me make you put a diaper on your face and make not to hang out with your spouse. Trust the signs. Yeah, right. How stupid it is. Antonio said stated ADA and Nuremberg Code to coworkers. They responded with Nazi. Yeah, the whole HIPAA violation where they're going to ask you your status of being, whatted. Thank you, YouTube, that I can't even say the word. And then you have these internet lawyers saying no, HIPAA protects from having the doctor reveal your medical status, but not you. So it's like, are you that dumb? Do you think the concept of HIPAA, which is to keep my medical information private, that's the concept. Do you think it gives more power to the doctor to keep the secret than it does me, the very person whose secret it is? That I have less ability to keep the secret than my doctor? It's my secret. It's my information. Of course I don't have to tell anyone who asks me. Holy shit, dude. But yeah, they were you saw who they were when the shit went down, their character was revealed. Yeah, total fascists. They love to scream fascist. Yeah, that's because that's what they're guilty of. That's who these people are. And never forget it. Always forgive. God says you have to forgive. You have to forgive. But what does forgive mean? Forgive means I won't harbor resentment and anger in my heart, and I won't go after you for revenge. Justice isn't revenge, right? So there still needs to be justice. There still needs to be held to account, these people. Further, don't ever forget who they are. And you can still forgive and not forget who they are because they haven't changed. Oh no, they haven't. They may be nice now because nothing's really going on. These NPCs have not received their latest programming to tell them what to be outraged about or try to subvert. But let another thing happen. Look at the Ukraine stuff. The people, the idiots that support this endless war, endless bloodshed, they're the exact same people that believe the lockdown stuff. The exact same triple boosted people are the exact people that believe in the Ukraine stuff. They're dopes. They're marks. They're too easy. These people. Whatever the government tells them, they go along with it, and they think they're helping freedom or whatever. And this is how persuasion works. All right, all it is marketing from the powers that be at the government and the globalists. If someone has a worldview, and you know what that worldview is, and the worldview that leftists have is narcissism of I'm a great person, I'm a hero, I'm virtuous. That's why they virtue signal, right? I was looking at the clock in the corner. They virtue signal because they are narcissists. If you know this about them, you can use it against them powerfully. And the way you use it against them is you say, well, if you believe in Black Lives Matter marches and basically ruining America with racial division, if you believe in that the white man is the worst thing ever, then you're a hero. And their whole chief concern, these leftists, is their narcissism of being regarded as the greatest people ever. So if you know that, and you're the powers that be that want to subvert America, then that's what you tell them. So, well, doing this, reading trans books to kids in the library, it makes you a hero and tolerant. That's why they fall for every last psyop from the government, because it's always packaged of, and if you do this, you're a good person. And that's so important to them. That's the core of their worldview, is to be thought of as great. Look at me, everyone. I let migrants in. I'm so tolerant. Not like you. You're a racist. You're a racist, sexist, homophobe, Nazi, fascist, Russia supporting, science denying homophobe, right? Just get it all in there, right? Just get it all in real nice and good. But when you're dealing with people where that is their concept, that is the most important thing to them, is to be worshipped. They want to be worshipped as the greatest people of all time. Then the people that are playing these divide and conquer tricks on them don't have a hard time at all saying, well, if you do what I want, that's what makes you a hero. That's what makes it. And somehow always doing what they want leads to them getting more money. And then these leftists can't figure it out. And again, this is what they call useful idiots in politics, right? These people are useful idiots. And they're used against us normal people to, look in California, there's a Democratic assemblyman, and he's written a proposed bill. Get a load of this shit. Antonius Apex Comment says, yo, Gabe Eltaeb. I say, yo, Apex Comment. Antonius says, never forget, never forgive, hold the line. Robert Barnes, the best internet lawyer. He is real. Defender Wesley Snipes. Love Wesley Snipes. I forgive. I'm a Christian. And all forgive means is, hey, I let the bitter and angerness go, and I don't want revenge. I forgive. I don't forget who they are. They still are that person. They still are these evil globalist left-wingers. So that's just a fact. That isn't my opinion that that's who they are. That's who they are. So that isn't me lacking any sort of humility to forgive. That's me not being a dumbass and going and getting screwed by them again. But it's a culture war. This is why I do what I do, because I know that the culture is in persuasion, right? People believe what they're persuaded to believe, okay? And the most potent form of persuasion, according to scientific research, is narrative, also known as stories, also known as movies, video games, streaming television, comic books. That's the most potent form of persuasion. If I write a good story, you will internalize the message as true if I'm a good performer, whether that be an artist, an illustrator, an actor, a singer. If I give a good performance, you will think on a subconscious level what he said is true. And if you believe things are true, you act on them, right? If you see a cup of water, you drink it because water is safe and healthy for you to drink. You believe that, so you act on it. If you see a cup of motor oil, you don't drink it because that is not nutritious, healthy, or safe. Because you believe that, you act on it. You act on that belief. So if I make art that gives you some beliefs that happen to subvert your culture, religion, and government, you're going to act on them. This is why filthy material is not okay to watch. You know, it's not, I'm not an uptight Christian. I'm a person who honors and cares about my culture. And I understand that if you fill people's heads with filth and you're permissive with it, then they're going to live that way, vote that way, and it will lead to our utter destruction, right? So people don't need to be convinced of evil being good and good being evil, yet that's what most of the media does because it's captured by some really awful people. People whose entire ideology is they hate their father. And ultimately hating your father is a proxy for hating God, right? God the Father. They hate their father because their father represents rules and authority. And hey, you can't just do whatever you want. That's bad. They don't like hearing that. They want to do whatever they want. And there's no such thing as right or wrong. Morality is, morality is subjective, which is utter horse shit. It's not subjective. It is objective. Bring back sanity in California and the world. Apex Comics, amen, right? I'm hoping so. That's what I'm fighting for. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. How great does this mountain lion guy look? And he's attacking Tyrus here. So I'm doing the inks on this book here. I'm having a blast with this stuff. I think I need one more layer of cross-hatching here to just make it a little darker. You layer cross-hatching at different angles to darken things to show their rounded shape and show the shadow fading. That's that's too round now. It's like a boob. I'll take those out. Yeah, that was too much. But yeah, I'm having a blast with this. We're going to get out of here in just a bit because it's already 11:42. I'm going to go a little bit early today. I want to lift weights. I'm fired up today. I need to work off some stress by hitting the iron. Here's one thing about being a big man comicer, which is what all you guys are. You are part of this with me. I love you guys. I thank you so much for the support. You head to bigmancomics.com right now. You can still get a first printing of Dean Cain, All-American Lawman, Volume 1. Volume 2 will begin in April, the work on that. This Tyrus book should be done sometime in June. We'll put it on a crowdfund and get it to you fast. That's one thing I believe in is I take the risk. I put my neck out there. I make these books that cost me a lot of time and money and opportunity because I can work on something else. And then I trust that this stuff is good enough and you're going to love it and you're going to back it. And then you crowdfund me on it. And, that's the relationship I want to have with you guys where you're not putting in all the risk and worried if you're ever going to get the book. Is the book going to be any damn good when you get it? I want you guys to have ease. I want you guys to have a surety that this stuff is going to be what you want when you get it. So, but yeah, Tyrus will be coming out this summer. Empyrean is almost done. Let me jump into that. I'm going to go into my Dropbox and look at the Empyrean stuff that was sent to me. So that's what I got done drawing on the show just now. Pretty good musculature there on that guy. Let me go open my Dropbox because my colorist, who's finishing up Empyrean any day now, he had some technical hiccups. He had a real bad personal problem. I'm not going to say what that is, but he's getting over it now. Thank God he's okay. I prayed for him and everything and try to support the guy. And so he got a little behind on it. But to be fair, I gave him a ton of work in a short amount of time, which I don't like to do. You know what I mean? So let's see. Date modified. Let's see. Oh, I'm in the wrong folder. Whoops. That folder there. Okay, let's see. Let's see some more pages. Okay, I'm going to bring this up. Never shown this before to me or you guys. Let's see it. Let's see. Hold on, let me scoot this over here. Sorry, I'm moving some folders around. Where did it go? Okay, what's in here? What is in here? So 2 new pages just put up. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. Nice. Okay, let's bring these on screen here. These are 2 pages from Empyrean. This I'm working on a contract for a distribution marketing deal. Hit the like, hit the share, guys. You're gonna love this when it comes out. Present, share screen, share entire screen, share this screen here. Now I'm just sharing a picture of a folder, which is stupid. Double click, open that. Okay, I'll drag this over here. So this is these are some pages from Empyrean. I won't spoil anything. This is Casimir, though, the dictator. You already know that if you've been watching for a while. I've been talking about this stuff. And his #1 military commander, Colonel Red, is the blonde guy. And they're about to attack. They're about to attack the rebels. He's in his battle dress and looking mean and fierce. That's great red lighting on there. Here is some space exploration, being sucked out into the vacuum of space. One of our heroes, Oliver, being sucked out in his wingsuit, in the high orbit above a planet. So yeah, this is going to be outrageously good. You're going to love this stuff, man. They ruined Star Wars. I fixed it. And you're welcome. So you're gonna be able to crowdfund this thing. Very good. The texture shading looks good. Yeah, the guy that I hired to finish the coloring, I colored like the first third of this book. He's like a 30-year mainstream comic book veteran, so he knows what he's doing here. This is outstanding work. He's got the tone, he's got the texture, he's got the storytelling. It's coming out great. So guys, I'm gonna go, even though it's 10 minutes early. Hit the like, hit the share. Tomorrow night, I'm live at 7 p.m. Pacific. We're doing a movie that started strong and sucked. It's Roger Moore's second 007 movie, The Man with the Golden Gun. I was so thrilled like the first 20 minutes in. It was cool. And then it got so corny and silly. I don't know if they were smoking weed or what was going on with that, but holy shit, that got bad, that movie. And yeah, we're going to keep going with the Bond theme because I want to know Roger Moore's Bond. I've never seen him before. And that'll be 7 p.m. Pacific tomorrow night. Then we're back Thursday and Friday with more Big Man Comics Live. That's always 11 to noon right here. And I'll be posting my, hopefully, 4-a-week videos where I just do commentary. And that is Tuesday through Friday. And those go 6 a.m. Pacific. Those go live. Guys, hit the like, hit the share. And let's see, Gabe, how did you guys draw paint stuff like shapes before PC? With a pencil and a pen and a ruler. I prefer to draw by hand. I'm only drawing Tyrus on there for the sake of speed. But here's a Tyrus right here that I drew. This was just like an unused cover. This is 17 by 11 inches, white Bristol board, and the pencils and inks. I actually prefer doing this analog. Here's an unused, I'm not going to use it, cover for Dean Cain, The Hong Kong Connection. I have to rewrite the script, so I have to redraw this cover. But no, I prefer doing this stuff by hand. I actually do prefer. But if I did the Tyrus book by hand, I wouldn't be done with it probably till the end of the year. So I had to make a choice. And I'm like, well, I want to be done before Comic-Con. I want to be done by the end of June with that book. So I made a choice to do it digitally, which to me is sad because then I won't have original paper pages. That's sad. But that's the modern age we live in. So future books where I give myself more time, maybe I'll just do them all by hand like that. Maybe do some layout work on the computer that does speed things up to maybe lay out some perspective and then print it up in blue ink. You can do stuff like that and then ink it by hand. But yeah, no, I totally know how to draw by hand. That's what I did 99% of my career was all by hand. So as far as coloring, I've always colored digital. I'm too young to have colored with the dyes and all that they used to use and all that stuff in the early 90s. I didn't start coloring professionally until like 2002 or 3 or something like that. No, 2000. I started coloring professionally for small stuff. I got over at mainstream comics like in 2004, like stuff for Image and then eventually DC Comics. So always my coloring was digital, but not true. I learned to color by painting when I was in middle school. I painted Warhammer miniatures for years. Because when I started coloring, I'll go right after this, but I thought it was fascinating. I didn't know until a year and a half ago why I knew how to color so well. Because I started using Photoshop and my colors were outstanding right off the bat. Like my color sense, what colors to pick, light, dark. And I don't believe in that. I believe that you don't just have talent and then you're good at something. You can have talent and be better to start, but you always have to work. I was like, why the hell do I know how to color so well? And then I had a memory one day, like a year and a half ago, talking to a friend, like, oh my God, I painted Warhammer miniatures for like 5 years straight when I was a kid. It gave me a complete sense of color. Guys, hit the like, hit the share, go to bigmancomics.com. Get Dean Cain, All-American Lawman, Volume 1. It is outstanding. You will love it. Best comic you're going to read. And as Antonia said, thank you, Gabe. Good day. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.